What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. You guys already know I kind of took a little bit of a break with the Galaxy Note 10 comparisons, but we're back at it again, and we're actually going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus to the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Now, these phones, obviously the Note 9 is the older version of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and I already did a comparison between the regular Note 10 and the Note 9, so if you want to see that one, I'll try to link that in the description if I remember. But this one is probably going to be the better comparison, I think, or at least like a better upgrade than the Note 10, because in my opinion, between the Note 10 and the Note 9, I think the Note 9 is probably the better phone for price per value. Obviously, the Note 10 is the better phone overall, but there's still a lot of compelling reasons to pick up a Note 9 over a Note 10. But between the Note 9 and the Note 10 Plus, there are some key differences and even some upgrades that you would get coming from a Note 9 and upgrading to a Note 10 Plus, and we'll get into those throughout this whole entire video. But the Note 9 actually came out last year in August, and the Note 10 Plus just came out, obviously it's the most recent one. And I'll definitely tell you, when holding both in the hand, I was surprised to say that they both feel pretty much premium. They both feel almost exactly the same in the hand. And that's kind of an issue that we're going to have for the next couple years with phones developing and everything, because, you know, once you have glass on the front and glass on the back, the way they feel isn't really going to change too much. They feel almost like, once I close my eyes and I feel them, like I can't tell which one is which, honestly, like unless I looked at it. Obviously, the Note 9 has the fingerprint sensor on the back. The Note 10 is built into the screen. And I'm going to call this the Note 10, but this is the 10 Plus. I'm going to keep forgetting that. But in terms of the front, you can definitely see that the Note 10 Plus does have an overall bigger screen than the Note 9. The Note 9 has a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display. This one is 1440p. And looking at the Note 10 Plus, you also have a 1440p display, but this one is 6.8 inches, and this is actually a dynamic AMOLED display. Now, when I'm looking at the screens, honestly, I'll tell you this, I don't know why Samsung put such an ugly wallpaper on the Note 10 Plus. I feel like their wallpaper developer or whatever, man, they could have done a way better job. And obviously there's better wallpapers. If you go here, click wallpapers, you go ahead and change it up if you want. But honestly, they all look almost exactly the same. This one looks a little bit better, so I guess we'll switch it up to this one. But like I said, the screens on the front look almost identical. You're not going to notice that crazy of a difference. However, the one thing you will notice a difference about is the top. As you can see, the Note 9 has a little bit of bezel on the top and actually the bottom as well. Where the Note 10 Plus has a hole punch display, there is still like a very, very tiny amount of bezel on the top and the bottom. But like I said, you can't really tell. Like if you're looking at it now, you can honestly not even tell that. The Note 9 bezel, however, is really not that bad, and I think I've seen a lot of complaints about the Note 10 Plus's hole punch display. Not that it's like faulty or anything, but just like they don't like that hole punch display on the top. I think we got so accustomed to being in the corner, like on the S10 and S10 Plus and even S10e, that with the hole punch display in the center, it just looks a little bit weird. I mean, it's not the end of the world for me. I mean, it's kind of funny and honestly, but the Note 10 Plus, I think, is definitely the way the future is going. It looks more future-proof and whatever, but the Note 9's design isn't bad at all, like not even a little bit. Looking around the devices, we have actually less buttons on the Note 10 Plus, which is a good thing. We don't have that Bixby button on here. Looking on the back, you can see we have a triple camera setup on the Note 10 Plus and a dual camera setup on the Note 9. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the cameras in this video. I'll make a separate video talking about those things, but I'll tell you this, both cameras are amazing. The Note 10 Plus is going to be better, no surprise there. They both have S Pens on the bottom, and the Note 9 does actually have the headphone jack, where the Note 10 Plus does not have the headphone jack. It removed it. It does have the USB Type-C port and the S Pen, which, you know, is really cool, and I guess I'll hit on those in a minute, but really that's it for the most part. They both have micro SD card slots, which is awesome. The Note 10 does not have that, but that pretty much covers it up in terms of the way the phones feel and everything. Like I said, they feel almost identical in the hand. Jeez. The Note 10 Plus may look a little bit more premium because of that hole punch display, but everything else is really standard. Like, it doesn't really matter too much. Now, in terms of the software, this is where things get a little bit weird, okay? And actually not really. The Note 10 Plus is going to outlast the Note 9 by at least a year. Now, the reason I say by at least a year is because Samsung, usually when a newer phone comes out, it usually outlasts the older one by a year or two. But the thing is that Samsung is kind of on this trend of, you know, supporting their phones longer. And it seems like phone manufacturers are starting to do things outside, at least Android manufacturers are starting to do things outside of their normal hardware things. They're starting to focus a lot more on software and differentiating the phones between the software. So it could be that Samsung, you know, makes the Note 10 Plus last an extra year of support on top of what it's usually supposed to be getting. Now, usually I wouldn't say that because that's kind of going against usually what Androids do and all that stuff, but because Samsung really on their last keynote, they hit on their software so much and they were, you know, with the One UI and all that, I can imagine that they might do that. So in terms of stock capability, you're probably going to be set there, but you will also eventually have custom ROM support on the Note 10 Plus, but you already have that on the Note 9. You have ROMs, custom ROMs, you have a root out for it. Eventually there will be a root out in custom ROMs for the Note 10 Plus, but as of right now, this current minute that I'm making this video, the Note 9 does have a larger community behind it than the Note 10 Plus, but eventually that'll be kind of the subsided and it'll be the same. But stock support will definitely outlast you on the Note 10 Plus, but custom ROMs and everything will kind of still, make the Note 9 a viable option for a little bit longer, in my opinion. Now that pretty much covers up everything I want to talk about in the hardware and software side of things, but I'll go ahead and tell you the specs of both these phones. The Note 9 actually has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, an octa-core CPU, an Adreno 630 GPU, and depending on the variant, you either get 6 gigs of RAM or 8 gigs of RAM. On my specific unit, I have 6 gigs of RAM. With the Note 10 Plus, you have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, an octa-core CPU as well, but those cores are clocked higher, an Adreno 640 GPU, and all variants have 12 gigs of RAM, so that's really, really cool. So let's go ahead and see which one is the faster phone. I'm telling you right now, the Note 10 Plus is probably going to be faster, but let's go and see how much faster it is. And like I showed you before, all the apps are cleared out in the background. Let's go ahead and load up some similar apps between these. Let's go ahead and do BOFA. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the Note 10 Plus was just like a little bit faster. Not as fast as you might think, but it's definitely faster than the Note 9. Let's do Totem. 3, 2, 1. And it's looking like, oh well, actually I don't know about this one. As you can see, the Note 9 kind of loaded into it faster than the Note 10 Plus. I don't really know what happened there. I was expecting it to be faster on the Note 10 Plus, but this is a really weird game, so I don't really even understand what happens half the time. Let's do Thank You. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the Note 10 Plus got into it. Now this is a very basic game, so it's not even going to matter because, all the graphics are going to be exactly the same. It's not going to glitch up at all. But what I will tell you though is that even though you do have a bigger screen on the Note 10 Plus, look at how much difference there is. I mean, there's really not too much because you can see on the top bar, the hole punch display kind of cuts off on the bottom. So even though you do have that hole punch to the full display, you don't necessarily have that much display when you look up there. Hopefully I zoomed into that. Let's do Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. As you can see, the Note 10 Plus got into it faster again. Let's get into some gameplay, see if they glitch up at all, which I don't think they are because this is, like I said, a very basic game. Let's do Temple Run. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, we have to restart this one because we were not on the main menu there. And just take a second to look at how old this is, like Android gingerbread type of pop-up right here. Temple Run. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the Note 10 Plus is just flying through. However, it could be the case where the Note 9 randomly bumps ahead because when I always say that, I'm always wrong. Well, no, I'm right. All right, let's go through. Let's see if there's a difference. As you can see, yes, the Note 10 Plus is faster, but bro, it's not as fast as you might think. I know it's crazy to think, man, the Note 10 Plus is supposed to be way faster, and it is faster, but it's not as crazy, man. If you have the Note 9, you can see, it's not that big of a difference. Let's do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. And I don't want people thinking just because the phone is whatever and because it's way newer or whatever, we're going to have to restart this one because of that. But I want people to know that if they do have the older iPhone or older phone at all, it's not a bad deal. It's still a very good phone, the Note 9 is. And here's another crazier thing. Even though the Note 9 loaded this one up faster, which I don't even understand how that happens all the time, but look at the screen gameplay, size that you have. As you can see, you have more screen real estate on the Note 9 than you do on the Note 10 Plus. Now, once game developers get into it, they'll start, making these games for the specific aspect ratio, but you have more gameplay and screenplay on the Note 9 than you do on the Note 10 Plus, which is really weird. The same issue was on the Note 10 as well. Let's go do Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. And actually with the Note 9, we had to actually continue downloading it, so I'm going to have to restart this one again. Real Racing 3. 3, 2, 1. As you can see, the Note 10 Plus is the faster device. The Note 9 is still loading, so eventually it'll get into it, but it's quite faster than the Note 9, so that's pretty interesting. Let's go load up some older apps, the 6 gigs of RAM here versus the 8 gigs of RAM here. And I don't think we're going to notice that crazy of a difference. Of course, the Note 10 Plus will be able to handle it better. This is usually an easier comparison to do because it's usually more apparent. Yes, the Note 10 Plus will be able to handle it better. It doesn't really have anything to do with the screen or pixels or whatever. It's all fine. It doesn't really matter. So ultimately, in terms of speed comparison, you can see the Note 10 Plus is the faster device, but it's not as crazy as you might think, in my opinion. Yes, the 10 Plus is faster, but I still think the Note 9 is still a very, very fast phone, in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and hit on the cameras for 10 seconds. Now, of course, in my opinion, I'm telling you, the Note 10 Plus is the better camera. You have a triple camera setup here and a dual camera setup on the Note 9. Now, On the Note 9, you have two 12 megapixel sensors. You can do 4K at up to 60 frames per second, all that good stuff. On the Note 10 Plus, you have two 12 megapixel sensors and then an extra 16 megapixel ultra wide sensor, which allows you to do, wider angle photos and all those things. And this is what I'll tell you, yes, the Note 10 Plus is the better camera without a doubt. You're going to be able to do more with it. You have more software improvements with the Note 10 Plus as well, but the Note 9 camera is still very, very good. I've had really no issues with it. I will do a whole separate comparison talking about these two cameras actually, so keep it locked down on the channel so you don't miss that. I just didn't want to bring it into this video because it's going to end up being like 30 minutes long. So on the front, we have a 10 megapixel camera on the Note 10 Plus and the 8 megapixel camera on the Note 10 on the Note 9. And again, like I said, obviously the Note 10 Plus, I think in my opinion, is going to be the better camera. Now hitting on the battery life for a little bit now, and this is kind of a slippery slope. So they both have the same, the Note 10 has a bigger screen, okay, but same screen resolution, same everything. You have a 4,000 mAh battery on the Note 9 and a 4,300 mAh battery on the Note 10 Plus. Now, the good news is that I do believe the Note 10 Plus has better battery life, not only because of the bigger battery life, but also because if you're getting a Note 9, you're probably getting a used, battery has degraded, it's not at the full 4,000 anymore. So really you're comparing a 4,300 to maybe like a 3,800 or 3,700 mAh battery, which is a very, very important thing to note, and not a lot of people talk about that. But the other thing is that the Note 10 Plus does have reverse wireless charging, so you can technically charge a Note 9 from a Note 10 Plus very slowly, but it'll still work. But you cannot do that vice versa. You cannot charge a Note 10 Plus from a Note 9. So a really cool feature. You can do a lot of cool things with that. If you're in a pinch, you can charge up whatever device. So that is a really, really cool thing about the Note 10 Plus that the Note 9 does not have. Now in terms of the S Pen, they both have it, so there's not even any point in talking about it. It's a really cool feature. So it's pretty much the same on both devices. It does almost the exact same thing, and it's really cool. Now this is kind of how I would sum up this whole entire comparison, okay? I do believe that the Note 10 Plus is probably worth an upgrade. Like if you have an upgrade to the Note 10 Plus, this is a really good phone in my opinion. I mean, I would say this is better than the S10 Plus, and I think this is a tremendous phone, but I still don't think it's a great value per dollar. I think whatever this is, $1,050 for it, I think that's still a lot of money for this specific device. I think you can do a lot in the used market with that. So with the Note, so this is brand new selling for how much? $1,050. This in the used market you can get for less than $400. And this is not 3 times of a phone than what this is, or even twice of a phone. This is 80 to 90% good enough for what this phone is. If this phone was 100%, this is an 85 or 90%. Honestly, it still does everything you need. It's just missing a couple things. This one has a better camera, a better battery life, reverse wireless charging. But for the basic necessities, not even basic, for even the power user, you're still getting quite a bit from this. Yes, you do have additional RAM here and all those different things, but I still think the Note 9 is a tremendous phone. The Note 10 Plus, no competition. It is the better overall phone. And I know before I might have been hating on it, but I'm telling you right now, the Note 10 Plus is a great phone. The Note 10 I think is overpriced, but this one, they both have micro SD card slots. If you can get over that headphone jack thing, and if you have the money, go for it. But I think a certified refurbished or used Note 9 is a better deal than this. But if you can get this for even cheaper, or even in the used market for lower value, then this is definitely a better device. But I'll go ahead and find the cheapest Note 10 Pluses and Note 9s that I find on Amazon, and I'll link them straight in the description below. You guys can go get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. But that is pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.